Hello guys, welcome back. So today you will be learning the basics in C, the basic terminologies, basic programs. As you've seen the installation part in the previous video, we will be jumping right onto the basics. So to begin with, you might have noticed each and every C program has hash include stdio.h called as a header file or stdlib.h. So header files are the files that have the information related to the functions you will be using within your program. So let me begin here with hash include stdio.h. So stdio.h is the header file that contains the information about the input and output functions. And moving on to my main function. So void main with parenthesis. As void is my return type, and main is a function, it will have parenthesis. And to have the function body, or usually known as function definition, I'll have to declare my braces. Those curly braces are known as braces, and your entire function, my job here is hello world, so I'll have to type my entire problem and the program within these two braces. So to print my word hello world, I'll be using printf. So printf is used to display any output you want, could be character, int, anything, integer, anything, and you'll be mentioning it in double quotes, as mine is a string hello world. So I'll be typing hello world with an exclamation point, and I use semicolon as a terminator here. They are usually not used for conditional statements or loops, etc. Let us execute the program now, and we will be getting our output hello world right there. Tokens are the smallest or the basic unit in C programming, and you have 6 of them. We have constants. Constants are numbers like 5, 6, or anything of that sorts. And you have operators, addition, subtraction, division, greater than or equal to command operators. And you have special characters, like you've seen in the previous program, braces, parentheses, hash, command special characters. We have strings, hey, and these strings are within single quotes. And we have keywords, there are 32 of them in C. These are the keywords in C. And we have identifiers. They are a set of rules you'll have to follow to declare a variable, and these are the examples of our identifiers. So we have different data types in C: integers, characters, float, and double. Float and double are for decimals, integers are for integers, and characters are for characters, like you can know it by their names. And here we'll be doing a program for integer declaration. And now I have got int. I'll be declaring int for integer, and I have my variable a for it, and I've declared my integer a, and I'm assigning a value 5 to it. I can assign it there, or I can assign it right after my declaration, and I'll be printing my value, my integer value right here. So I'll be using the format specifier %d in order to declare, or in order to display my variable. So these are used for the compiler to distinguish between integers or characters, and I'll have to give my variable out here in order to display my variable and its value. And I've executed the program, and the integer I have entered is 5. That's exactly what I did. So this is integer declaration, and now let's see character. For character, we use the keyword char, and I'm using a again. So I'll have to assign my data with single quotes. I can assign it right there like this, and I'll have to declare it under, I have to display my value under double quotes here. So the character I have, or you have entered, is a, and the format specifier for character is usually %s or %c. As I'll be using the single character here, I'll use c. If you're using bunch of strings, you'll have to use s, and you'll learn about them further. So I've used %s, and let me run my code. Yeah. Okay, I've found an error. So yeah, I have missed a semicolon right there. So like I've mentioned before, so semicolons are important. So we'll have to check them and terminate our lines properly. And now let me execute it, and the character you have entered is G, and that's exactly what I entered. So yes, we are done with character. Now we'll be checking up with our float or decimals. So now we'll be declaring our decimal data types known as float. The keyword for this is float, and the format specifier is going to be %f. I have declared my header files, and now my main function, my return type is going to be void again, and my parenthesis, and let me declare my body. And float, I'll be declaring my variable with the keyword float, and I'll be assigning the variable name as f. No, you might get confused, so let me put it as h and semicolon, and I'll assign value 9.8 to my h here, which is a decimal value, and let me print out the value for you. So the decimal value you have entered is %f, as I mentioned earlier. For the decimal or float, the format specifier is f, and with comma, and now I'll have to write the variable there and terminate the statement, and let me run the program. So I've got my decimal value. So now we'll be doing local and global variable declaration. So you'll have many functions where you'll be using the same variable many times, and in order to avoid the hectic declaration in each function, we have global variable declaration. So in global variable declaration, you declare the variable you need right after your header files. So let me begin with it. And here I finish my header file, and I'll be declaring my global variable g as an integer type. So int g semicolon, and in this program you'll also learn how to take an input from the user. So for that you'll have to give them a command to perform, like enter the value. Therefore print that. So we print f, enter the value of the global variable, and semicolon. Oh, a little typo there. Yes, and we terminate it. To take an input from the user, we use the function scanf. So scanf, and double quotes, we use our format specifier %t for integer, and very important part, which is ampersand variable name. Here ampersand is used to reserve some memory space for the input you will be giving. So, and now let us print our output, which is going to be printf. The value of the global variable is, and remember the format specifier for integer %t, and comma, double quotes, comma, and a variable name, and we terminate it with our semicolon. Let's run the program now. And we get the output. Enter the value of global variable. Let me enter 7. So the value of the global variable is 7. Yep. Now let us see the local variable declaration. So local variables are nothing different. They are just defined or declared under each function. So here, as our function is main, I'll be declaring my local variable int l under main. I've taken the integer type int again, and enter the value of the local variable. Yes, and let me take the input scanf. Yep, my format specifier is %d, and ampersand variable name, which is L, and my semicolon. Yes. Let me print my output statement as well, which is the value of the local variable is %d, and I give my, what is the name? Yeah, L. So my variable name is L, and I give my variable name L and terminate it. And let me run the code. So yes, enter the global variable. Let me enter 7 and let me enter 9. Oops, I've got the answer, but it's a little bit messy. I've got the output, but a messy output. To make it pretty, we will be using, when you have two statements which have the output right after each other, we need it in a new line. So we use /n here so that we get the next output in the new line, so it doesn't look shabby. Let's run it again. Let me enter 7 and let me enter 8. Yep, my value of the global variable is 7 and the value of global variable is 9. So this is how we use local and global variables.